What's going on, brothers and sisters? This is Professor Spira
and Danielle Miranda.
We are here at Rock and Shock Fitness, and we just got done recording the air exercises. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people don't realize that there are 9 exercises in the Mucusless Diet Healing System, and a lot of people never do them. They just kind of, these look like they're just old exercises, but if you do them, they can kick your butt.
Absolutely.
They're not jokes, you know.
They kicked my butt. I was sweating while I was performing them, and it was awesome because I was activating muscles that I didn't even know you could activate with those 9 different exercises. So it was really cool to actually demonstrate it and be able to perform them and to really get a good feel of what Arnold Ehret was talking about when he was describing these Mucusless Diet Healing System exercises. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
Yeah. It turned out real good, and I got a chance to set up all my camera equipment, and I'm doing just, what do you say, I'm in my own little world.
You were in your zone. You were
zone.
You were making noises and following the camera around.
Yeah.
Just doing your own thing.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
That's,
Nothing wrong with that.
That's what I do. So what's been going on with you?
Well, I'm drinking my grape juice.
Yes.
I let Professor Spira have some. He thought it was awesome.
Very good.
I'm known for my grape juice, by the way, but to be honest, it's been an interesting summer for me. I've had a lot of things going on. I've had a lot of speaking engagements, and that's pretty cool because I've been able to kind of introduce the Mucusless Diet Healing System and also plant-based eating and veganism, and a lot of people look at me and they're like, wow, you have a lot of muscle and you look the way you do and you really eat like that. And yes, I actually do. And most of it is really intermittent fasting. I do a lot of fasting. I typically don't even eat my first meal until about 11 o'clock. So my body does great on that type of path, and my workouts are awesome when I'm not eating, and I have more energy. And since being on the Mucusless Diet Healing System, I've seen a big difference. I'm detoxing right now. I'm actually going through a fast right now, and so I'm a little tired, and I'm breaking out, which I'm not used to. But other than that, on that kick, it's been great. Business side-wise, it's been different. This is my first year owning my own business. I was an independent contractor representing myself prior to having Rock and Shock. So I would train people in their homes. I would train people in other gyms. And, that is a totally different life than actually having a building and being a boss and being responsible for members. And so there's been some ups and downs in this journey, but I'm thankful for it, and I love what I do. I love helping people. I love training. I love nutrition. I love being able to do what I love. And the fact that I get people that are interested and get amazing results from it, and I'm able to change lives, even if it's one life, it just brings joy to my life. So I'm very thankful to have had such an amazing year thus far with the business. So
yeah, nice, yeah, and I've seen different videos that you've put out on your Instagram. What's your Instagram? Is it Danny?
My Instagram is Danny Health 12, so Danny Health 12, and it is private. So if you request my friendship, I'll request you back and accept it. So
right. That was an interesting video where you and the ladies were dancing for the marathon.
Oh yes, so we were asked. It was really cool. We were asked to open up for Race for the Cure, and that was about 30,000 people. So we did that, and that was really neat. We actually had a whole dancer team.
It was long too. It was a long routine.
They wanted us up there for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, 15 minutes? What are we going to do for 15 minutes? How are we going to engage everybody and keep them engaged for 15 minutes? But we did it.
Yeah.
And it was pretty awesome. So we had matching outfits, and we were grooving to some Michael Jackson, and Phil Collins, and Black Eyed Peas.
And now, what's that vibe like as far as, because, us, we don't really feel the need to race for a cure because we know some things about what,
So, it's interesting you say that because for me, it was hard. Like, I don't believe in that either. So there was a conflict of interest. And so for me, I used the warm-up as a way to promote Rock and Shock and to promote this lifestyle and to get people asking questions and saying, hey, like, what do you do? That was a great gateway to introducing the Mucusless Diet Healing System and plant-based eating and why you shouldn't do this and why you shouldn't go into mainstream medicine and, and all that good stuff. So I tend to, use those negative pathways or that, that negative energy in those events, and I make them positive. I turn them around. I teach people that may not know about this lifestyle that, hey, there is another way. You don't have to, be medicated and be sick, and you don't have to do that to yourself. There are other alternatives. Let us show you the way.
Yeah. So. And no, it's funny. I got a song that's "Let us show you the way." So anyway, this guy named Thundercat. But yeah, those are a trip. Just that whole energy of people. On one hand, it's like, okay, there's this ideal of let's find a cure. Let's raise more billions of dollars and throw it.
They could be using that money to build farms and greenhouses.
Yeah, you could be using that money.
Helping people with cleansing.
Lemon orchards. Of acres, 100,000 acres of lemon orchards or something.
Absolutely.
I mean,
there's, vineyards. There's so many other alternatives that the medical industry and the pharmaceutical companies and the dairy and the meat industries can use that money towards.
Yeah.
And it is frustrating. It's extremely frustrating, especially for me because I have doctors and nurses in my family. And it's hard when you see them sick and overweight and eating mucus and pus-ridden foods and complaining about it.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I have another way. But, I'm looked at as the black sheep in my family. So they think I'm crazy because I'll come with my grape juice or my salads or whatnot. And so they think I'm kind of weird.
And what's your credentials, the things that people, in society, is you got degrees and all. What's all your degrees and stuff, licenses or anything like that you have?
So I have a Bachelor of Science in Nutrition, and I also have a degree in Human Development and Family Studies. I also have an Associate of Arts. I am a certified detox specialist, and I'm also going back for my iridology certification, so I can start getting into that. I have over 15 years experience in health and fitness. I am certified. I've developed my own style of training called HIIT, and that stands for High Intensity Timed Functional Interval Training. I've also developed my own school, AmericanFitnessUniversity.com. So I have my own university, my own style of training, my own certification program, and degrees and certifications with nutrition and all that good stuff. So I don't boast about it because I'm really big on actions speak louder than words. And just because you have a certificate or a degree, in my opinion, doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't. I've seen people that don't have those things do amazing things in the health and fitness industry. So, it's really about practicing what you're preaching and being able to, heal people the right way, not by the book all the time. So,
yeah.
But yes, I do have a lot of accolades. So, along with being a former Division I athlete, so I ran track and I played volleyball, and then after sports, I got bored and got sucked into the bodybuilding industry, unfortunately, and that's pretty much where my vegan journey started because I messed up my body pretty bad.
Ability to digest foods.
Yeah. So it brought me, to this point. And I'm so thankful for it. I couldn't be happier, and I absolutely love this journey and want to get as many people onto this side as possible because this is the way to true healing. It really is. So.
Yeah. let's see, I think Brother Air said something where he said, this is too cool, can't wait. I'm back amongst the eating. He's Brother Air just finished a 100-day fast.
Wow.
He did 100 days.
That's amazing, Brother Air. That's awesome.
Which is really kind of a short fast for him.
Wow.
That would be considered a short fast, but yeah, he went ahead and he said the reason that he started really eating again was because he always tends to fast through the summer months, but he'll miss out on the fruit that come out. You know,
it's hard.
The fresh stuff that comes out. So he's like, man, I want to eat some of that and then fast later. So
that is awesome. That's inspiring.
So we don't. So I had to do the disclaimer. We don't promote long fasting. I'm not telling anybody to go do a fast or no. Just that's what Brother Air did.
So Pat just asked us a question. Was it a 100-day water fast?
So the type of fasting that Brother Air does, he either does dry fasting.
Wow.
So he does periods of dry fasting with periods of fruit juice fasting.
Okay.
He doesn't do water fasting. So he doesn't drink water at all. So he skips over water and he either does fruit juice or he had some pretty long dry periods on this one, I think.
Wow.
30, 40-day kind of thing of being dry. And that's so again, and I don't promote that. I don't even promote dry fasting unless I'm in a one-on-one relationship with somebody counseling them, and I think that they need that.
Right.
But Eric was, he was very, I guess, called rational fasting. Right. His approach is very systematic, very gradual and logical, and not radical. And what a lot of people out here are doing now, what they're doing is called radical fasting. Right. And where you take somebody that's never fasted
and you just jump them right into a fast.
No transition, no nothing, and then it's like, okay, jump into a fast and then take all these supplements and do these herbs and stand on your head and pull out the.
It's the thing about it is that, like Professor Spira was saying, just because Brother Air is doing something like that, or Professor Spira may do something like that, or anybody that's practicing a mucusless diet, doesn't mean they're promoting it. So please be mindful that they are experienced and they've done this for a very long time. And if you're new to this, you need to transition. The only way where I may look at it as an exception is if you're in a life-threatening situation and you're near your deathbed. But unless that's...
And you need to be working with somebody.
Yeah.
In them situations, you need to work with somebody that knows what they're doing. And, and if you're interested in those of us that can counsel you on the mucusless diet approach to healing, there's not that many of us. Right. But yeah, that's tough. It's tough for people to understand because everybody wants to... It's almost like an ego trip that people have where they want to do what somebody else is doing. If somebody else is doing something incredible, they want to do it today, but they don't want to look at, well, what did that person do? Brother Air spent 40 years transitioning, and the first 10, 15 years were probably more gradual than what a lot of people think that it was, and what a lot of people... it's funny because I've seen people in the same sentence sort of almost criticize Brother Air for trying to go too far or fasting too long or doing too much or saying that, that can't happen, you can't do that. But then when they hear about what he did for the first 15 years of his transition, they're like, what did he eat? Mm-hmm. He ate that for that long? Wait, isn't that mucus-forming? Isn't that... Yeah, it was called a transition. Right. And it's like he said, Brother Air he did peanut butter and jelly on toast for 4 years, 10 years into practicing the mucusless diet. He went through a period of which is like sacrilegious to a lot of the raw food people, but that's what is missed is understanding the long-term strategy and what it really means to dig down deep and to work out constantly working out and going deeper into your tissue system, your physiology, and transforming your bloodstream. And in that process, you really come into contact with all of your, your history, your parents' history, your whole lineage, is coming out. And so that's why I say don't be hard on yourself.
No, don't be hard on yourself. For me, I still have periods of transitioning. Transitioning, it's not a one size fits all. Everybody's different. We all have different issues. We all have different needs. We all have different goals. So each person's transition is going to be different. And, that is key. And I can tell you it goes along with anything, not just the mucusless diet, but life. You can't just jump into everything at once all the time. You have to take time and build up. For me, when I first started the mucusless diet, as you know, you warned me. You said, you want to make sure you're transitioning.
Yeah.
And of course, me being hard-headed, I'm like, man, he doesn't know nothing. I'm going to jump into this anyways.
Right.
He doesn't know me. Sure enough, I jumped in and literally fell hard within like the first week. It was terrible.
Right, then we talk on the next day, and you tell me what happened. I'm like, well, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
What happened?
It was like, okay, all right, I hear him. I get it. Let me do this right, and let me transition right.
Yeah.
And, the more you do that, the more success you'll have, not just with this diet, but with anything in your life. Take your time. Don't beat yourself up. Remember, everything is mental too. So when you're beating yourself up and you're speaking those words and you're thinking that way, you're going to walk in that. So you got to be really mindful to think positively and set small, tangible goals. That's another problem that people tend to have, is that they want these big goals, but they don't realize small, tangible goals are just as good too.
Yeah.
Maybe, with this diet, you want to make sure that, you're getting at least your steamed veggies in, by 8 o'clock every night. Or you want to make sure that you're at least getting one fruit juice in a day. Or something, start somewhere easy for yourself. Don't overwhelm yourself, you know?
And a lot of emails I send to people when they're asking questions, I say, reread the transition diet lessons.
Right.
And then reread them again, because it's like people are missing those lessons. Are so important, and because there's a difference between Eric talking about something, the ideal situation, philosophically, the ideal human diet, versus the methodological, rational process that you need to take to gradually transition your diet, and and it's hard because we work with a lot of people that get very narrow. It's like they want to be narrow-minded. Like they want to. Like, well, what is it I'm allowed to eat? It's It's not that simple. It's and yet it's more simple.
It's not as hard as people think it is. I do it with everything. I transition with everything, whether it's my workouts, whether it's goals that I have, whether it's the Mucusless Diet Healing System. I work with clients, and it's so funny because all of my clients are always like, I want to do what you're doing. I want to jump in and get started. And I tell them. So for instance, here's an example. I had a member, and I told her, and I've done this for years, and I told her, I said, listen, you're not ready to cleanse. She kept bugging me for months. I'm ready to cleanse. I'm ready to detox. And I'm like, no, you're not. No, you're not. Yes, I am. So I said, fine, we'll do this. Sure enough, she starts her cleanse, and she dropped 5 to 10 pounds in that first week. That next week, she fell off so hard, she gained like 25 pounds. Yeah. And got sick, and was out of commission for about a week. Yeah. Because she fell off as hard as she did. When I told her to transition, I said she wasn't ready, and I said we need to do this slowly. And she didn't listen. So, the thing about it is you got to really be mindful to set your pride aside. Set your pride aside, man. It's not worth it. Take your time. It's not a race. This journey is a lifelong journey. It's not a race. Take your time. Yeah. Don't rush.
Yeah. I don't know why I got that New Edition song in my head. Got to slow it down, slow it down. Got to lose control.
Cool it now.
Yeah, cool it, whatever. Yeah, I thought it. Well, yeah, I probably got the wrong, but I'm hearing slow it down.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, that was Brother Harris said. This is a system. Don't forget.
Absolutely, it is. It is.
I still don't see a lot of people talking about it, and then when they do, they then now we're having a situation where there's people that want to copy and paste a bunch of stuff that I wrote and not put a link to my to my website or anything, or give me any kind of credit. They just, this is good.
Yeah, you get a lot of that. I get a lot of that too. People trying to copy, the system that I created and the workouts and stuff. And I mean, truth be told, the truth always comes to light.
Yeah.
I mean, people know who wrote what, who did what. You just gotta keep going, Professor Spira. Don't stop.
Yeah, it's one of them things. And as someone that spend a lot of time in academia, that's extra.
Right.
Just like an extra offense of like you just say, just
give people credit.
Give people credit. Cite where you got something from or something like that. But so tell us a little bit about the culture of just sort of that bodybuilding period. And just the whole the Arnold Classic. Okay. That whole thing.
The bodybuilding industry, yes. It's all over the place. I mean, it's everything from you need to drink a gallon of water a day. And I always thought that was ridiculous because, I mean, if you think about it, how do you have a guy that's 6'5", 250, drinking a gallon of water a day, and a girl that's 5'2", 110, also drinking a gallon of water a day? That makes no sense. Right. And yet you get that going around. You have people shoving supplements down their throat all the time. Half of them are fillers. They're not tested, so you don't even know if they're natural or legit, but you get that in the industry. You get people that are shoving food down their throat every 2 to 3 hours, and, let's talk about the foods they're eating. They consider healthy to be baked tilapia, for example, Brussels sprouts that may be overcooked, and a baked sweet potato. And, that's the kind of meals that they eat, or steak with, cream of wheat, and eggs, and they do that 6 or 7 times a day. So their philosophies, from the eating aspect to the internal aspect to the physical aspect, is all wrong. And I know because I was in it. And when I did it, one thing I did notice that bothered me was that fitness industry is not about health and it's not about fitness. It is strictly about vanity. That's the fitness industry. It's, I want to have nice arms. I want to have nice legs. I want to have, a nice back. That's vanity. There is nothing healthy or educational about that. And then, you have a lot of people that are egotistical in the industry, people that are insecure in the industry, and that's why they do it. A lot of people are following each other in the industry. There's no leaders in the industry. There's nobody saying, hey, listen, let's focus on internal health. And as you focus on that, your external pairs with that. And that's just the way it is. It's the truth. I don't know why people don't get that. And I want to change the way the industry thinks about health, because it is backwards, and it's been backwards for years. You got people like Arnold and Sylvester, and you know what I mean? You have the Hulk and all these people that are not well. I mean, rumor has it Arnold went on a vegan diet. But we won't go there on that.
Yeah.
He doesn't talk about that at the Arnold Classic.
Oh, of course not.
Of course not. It's a conflict of interest. But rumor has it he is on a plant-based diet.
Now,
and that's because people know, as you get older, you can't take in that animal protein. You can't take in all that dairy and mucus. You can't take in all that stuff. Right. So, yeah, I mean, it's getting there slowly, but I do plan on changing it because enough is enough. We got to make it more internal and more about health and less about vanity and egos. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
Amir had a question, and this I will let Danielle field this. That I've been meaning to read the book. What are good muscles or God muscles?
good muscle
building foods that are allowed, and how many grams of protein would you guys say the body needs for bodybuilding?
So that's a great question, and I get this question all the time with my regimen and what do I do, and I need to be honest here. And a lot of people will disagree on me with this, but I don't count calories. I don't count calories, and I don't count grams of protein. I'm more about the quality of the food, and I'm more about, what time of day I eat it, how it's paired. I don't focus on the numbers. So for me, when it comes to protein, I mean, there's a little bit of protein in everything for the most part. I mean, there's protein in greens, there's protein in some legumes as long as they're sprouted and things like that. There's protein. For me, like I said, I look the way I do, and I get a lot of compliments on my physique, and I can tell you I don't get the amount of grams of protein that the average athlete gets. A typical day for me, so I'll run through a typical day for me. So I wake up, I will either drink my lemon water, my warm lemon water, or I'll do like an herbal tea, or I'll just drink some nice water, period, just plain. I'll work out, and then I wait until about 11, in between 11 or 12, and I'll have my grape juice. After that, I wait a couple of hours, and I will either have a bowl of fruit, so I'll do like my blueberries, or I'll do another grape juice or another fruit juice, or if I want to change things up, I'll do a salad. So I'll do a salad, and because I'm still transitioning, I'll still have things like hummus. So I'll put a little bit of hummus in my salad, because that's a transitional food. I'll add maybe some, capers and things like that, because it's transitional. So I'm not fully there yet, and I need to be honest about that. And then maybe a couple hours later, I'll have one of my favorite meals, as a matter of fact, is either steamed kale, and I'll steam that, and I'll put a little bit of herb seasoning on that, maybe saute that with some garlic, and maybe a little bit of onions, and I'll eat that with a nice salad. Or I'll do a veggie stir fry, which I really love to do. Or I'll do some veggie fajitas, where I'll wrap those in some collard leaves or romaine leaves. And then if I'm craving something sweet, or if I need something to kind of curb my craving, then I'll do another fruit juice, or I'll do a smoothie that literally has either water as my base, or I'll use a fresh squeezed grape juice that I juiced as my base, and I'll add a little bit of fruit to that, and I'm good to go. So I literally, I'm getting plenty. And I'll say this too, I need to have you guys be mindful of this. The cleaner your body is, the more you cleanse, and the cleaner your body is, the better your body will hold muscle. It will. The more your body will hold muscle, the better your results you'll feel internally and look internally, and you'll notice that you won't have to work out as hard, and you'll notice that you won't have to count your calories or your protein as much, because you're fixing your internal environment, which is what's the key here, is fixing your internal environment first and foremost. Yeah. So don't stress about it. If you stress about your foods and what you're eating, then, like I said, that's going to carry on to what you're doing. But just focus on your health and come up with a very tangible workout plan. And, with that, you'll get to your results eventually, but you have to go through some period. I'm going to be honest, there is a period where you're going to have to go through transitioning of the body. So you may lose a lot of weight at first before you start to really build your muscle. And I actually went through that transition myself. So Yeah, people don't like that part. They don't like to, you could go through periods where you could be skinny and, lose a little bit of muscle mass or whatever, but it's, and then you build back up, and, but when I started the diet, with Brother Air, I was like 300 pounds, and I'm like, am I gonna lose weight? Right. And he was like, man, we don't even talk about weight, and we haven't, we don't, right. We just don't. Yeah, I don't ever talk about my weight either. I just don't. Yeah, we just I don't worry about it. Yeah, I don't weigh myself. Some people I guess still weigh themselves all the time. I don't weigh myself. I don't worry about any numbers. I don't do my calories. I don't do anything. I don't do any of that. I was down that path when I was in the industry, and I got out of it. And honestly, I've never felt and looked better because I just don't do that stuff. I don't worry about it because I know I'm getting everything I need in my nutrition.
Right,
so.
Right. And and so, independent on where you're at, because the approach I take with the whole protein concept is that it's a theory, and it's a bad theory. The word was invented in 1838 by the work of Balder and Francois Magendie, and they were torturing dogs and all this kind of stuff. So I don't even, in the world of chemistry, there are they've named constituents that they've observed, and so we don't get into all that. But the fundamental and relevant discussion as it relates to human physiology is this idea that we need to consume. I mean, think about how illogical that is. We have to consume dead animal flesh to magically transform and energize our own flesh inside our body.
That makes no sense. That really makes no sense.
And so I don't know a cow that eats beef to create the beef, or drinks. Adult cows don't drink cow milk,
right.
And they still produce milk. They eat grass, and they're pretty big and they can be pretty strong.
Right.
Gorillas and that eat mostly fruit
are big and
they're
strong.
bigger and stronger than you.
Right.
That whole thing is just such a. I mean, the history of it is sad. It's sad to really see that what has happened with that, because people have capitalized on that. That it became a way to control people and market to people and all that kind of stuff, because it's really fear-based. It's fear-based that if you don't get enough, or if you're not going to be big enough if you don't get enough of this and all this kind of stuff, as opposed to,
which is not true,
diametrically opposed to real health, which is elimination. So what don't we need? What can we eliminate, as opposed to like, well, what can I add?
Right.
What'll make me bigger? What'll make me, that kind of thing. Pat said, I'm also 64. I learned long ago from David Fastigi and Queen Afua what at my age should be looking to do with the optimum exercise, or what type of exercise?
Optimum exercises for your age? Well, Pat, that really depends, like how I do things with my clients. I need to know what your background is. I don't know what you've done in the past. I don't know who you've worked with in the past. I don't know physically where you are. So I would need to assess you in that first to really determine what exercises would be beneficial for you. And also we need to figure out what your goals are physically. So what are you trying to accomplish? I just can't, I need to be professional in the sense of I'm just not going to give you exercises to do. I do things differently. I actually need to see, what you're working with in order for me to give you what you need. So I do things a little differently. But I'm happy if you're in the Ohio area or whatnot, or I Skype as well. I'm happy to work with you. Just let me know.
It's basically it's different for each person. Where there's no general prescriptions, and I know a lot of folks want that, like the general. What do we do? And it really does. At a certain point, you can only go so far with that general information, and you really gotta really plug into what is needed for your own physiology. Right. And I say that all the time, because I get a lot of emails these days of people that ask like general questions about the Mucusless diet, or can I eat this, or I got this happening, or this is, and it's like, I mean, most of what I would have to say generally is in the Mucusless Diet book, or is in Spira Speaks, or Rational Fasting. Like, they're in the books or on the website, and sometimes I'll direct people to those resources.
Right.
But when you start to get a little more personal and a little more, it's like, man, I would need to know more about your history to properly assess and give some advice, because I don't want to just say, well, this is what you should do, or this is like it's different for each person.
Right.
And that's important. But it's funny how many people you see that's out there in the health and fitness industry that will at a drop of a hat will give general.
Right.
We'll just give general information to anybody that asks, like just based on like, well, this is like, yeah, but you don't know anything about that person and where they're at,
right,
physiologically, and so it's that can be tough.
There was another question.
Let's see. I kind of addressed Brother Ayers. What's a calorie and a protein?
He's so funny.
It's like, what percentage of body fat are you?
What am I? So it varies throughout the year. So right now I'm probably sitting at 16% body fat, but I can get as low as 12 without trying. So I usually sit in between 15 and 18%.
I don't even understand. I've never studied that. I don't even understand what that means. What, like the numbers, I just, that whole concept of body fat to me is just, It's like, there's no need for that.
Right.
Although I would like to be stronger and work on my weak parts. Anyhow, it all just seems confusing. I was going to say, did you read the book? He said, I need to read the book, but also need to see with my own eyes and hear the people that are actually demonstrating how to be damn near an athlete with this Mucusless diet. But thank you guys for taking the time to answer my question.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, keep in mind, like I said, greens, if you're in transition, things like hummus, what's your take, Professor Spira, on beans and things like that?
My approach to this whole kind of concept, this type of topic, and I'm probably more hardcore, and I'd be less sympathetic than Danielle, so you probably want to talk to her. But I'm kind of like, we shouldn't even be thinking like that. I mean, this diet is about scrapping a lot of things, letting go of a lot of things, and reorienting ourselves to really focus on internal health and a whole new world of a whole new way to imagine the human existence.
Right.
When people talk like that, like, well, I want, I want to be strong, or I want to be, look a certain way, or that kind of stuff, that is putting things like the cart before the horse. Like, it's backward, where that shouldn't even be really. Again, you were talking about the vanity, and that's this thing that we're dealing with out here. Is everybody wants, regardless of what the internal health is, we want to look a certain way, or be able to perform at a certain level. But then you start studying. Look at some professional athletes. I mean, I used to be a football player. I was a 300-pound big guy, and I was a lineman. And but when I look at professional college to professional football players, and how long they can play professional. Right. Like I'd be retired by now probably, and two, how they don't. A lot of them don't live that long, and they have brain injuries.
Yeah,
and
it's the truth.
And so, but that whole kind of that's almost like this gladiator mentality. That's that old hearkening to the slaves, the gladiator slaves that were given a certain celebrity status, yet they didn't have a whole lot of control over what they could do within their societies. They were pretty much taken from here to there, but they were admired. And they would go out there and they would, and they'd fight and do flex and all that kind of stuff. And it was for the entertainment of people. Right. And that's how I see the modern day professional sports and all that kind of stuff. It's a big, we see the arenas. It's like this is just the post-Roman gladiatorial kind of situation where a lot of these people, they, they're internally, they're not doing that well.
Right.
So externally they might, because if you work on something long enough, and if you have a little talent at something, and you can get good at,
right.
Let me take a stick and hit this little ball. It's like let's do that and that kind of thing. But so I don't know. So my thing is with this Mucusless Diet Healing System, this is a journey where I tell people that you gotta come to this thing open-minded and be ready to scrap everything that you thought you knew about health and diet. Because if you aren't willing to do that, then you're going to have problems because you can't negotiate with this. People want to negotiate with the Mucusless Diet Healing System. It's like, it was written in 1920. It's like there's not a negotiation, and you don't negotiate with me. It's like what do you want? Do you if you read it and it makes sense to you, and you give it a try, because it's not even enough to just read it and say, oh, does this make sense or not make sense, or try to wrap your head around it. I mean, it's really, you either do it and you give it a try to see if it is what it is, or you don't do it.
I would say that my advice would be, I believe your name's Hassan. My advice would be to read the book, study the transition part of the book, really try that out. And then don't stress. Don't stress about the protein part. Don't stress about the weight part. Focus on your internal part first. That's really how we should be looking at health, is what are some internal things that I want to focus on? Do I want better bowel movements? Do I want to not feel as fatigued during the day? Do I want less bloating, less joint pain? Work on that stuff first while transitioning into the Mucusless Diet Healing System. If you fall off, get back on the wagon. Don't stress out about it. I can tell you I've done it plenty of times. As a matter of fact, I told Professor Spira, and he knows this when I was working with him, that for the longest time, I was really into blue corn chips. That was my thing. That was something that I looked at as a transitional food for me. And so, people are like, oh, that's not that bad. But for me, that was pretty intense for me, because I typically eat pretty straightforward. So don't worry about the grams and stuff right now. Focus on what you want to do for your health internally or externally. And then as you're working on that, and you're learning the Mucusless Diet Healing System, and you're learning about transitioning, play around with the foods, experiment, have fun. This is a lifelong journey. You're not going to get this overnight, so don't stress about it. And that goes for any of you guys. Don't stress about this. This is for life. So you may fall off. You may have something that's not on the transitional part of the diet, but just get back on the wagon and keep going. Don't stress about it. And don't let anybody make you feel like you're a failure or that you're not doing things right, because that's not the truth at all.
Yeah.
So, I would start there. I would start with reading the book, following some of the recipes, playing around with it. Like I said, you already do intermittent fasting, so that's down. So now, start playing with the food combining and, what kind of things you want to have, salads, steamed veggies, fruit, whatever. If you want hummus, eat hummus, beans, eat some beans. I know Professor Spira and I are a little different in this. I work with more mainstream people. I work with more of the fitness people. So with them, I have to be a little bit more mindful. And I can't just be like, you need to do this, you need to do this now. I can't be strict like that, because some people just don't understand. So I have to transition with them slowly, and I have to introduce certain things to them slowly.
So put it like this, or let me see if this with what you're saying. Do you say that you transition people's mental slowly, and probably slower than me?
Yes.
Because I feel like I transition people physiologically slowly. Because I don't push people
100%,
hard.
It's mental. I mean,
but mentally, I'm a little bit like, let's go.
See, I'm not like that. And I'm not saying
that's cool.
There's no right or wrong here.
We need that. We need that.
We're
we need both
in
of those.
two different industries, so there's no right or wrong here. But I'm dealing with clients that are broken, that are coming to me and may have an addiction, may starve themselves. may have an addiction to weighing themselves every day. I'm dealing with people that have chronic digestive issues from eating so much animal protein. I had a client that literally, no joke, has never had a piece of fruit or vegetable in her entire life. And she was in her 50s, and has never had a fruit or vegetable in her entire life. I had to work slowly with her. I couldn't just say, okay, this is what you need to do. I couldn't do that. And I've learned everybody's different.
Yeah.
We all have different journeys. We all have different background stories. I can't sit there and force this lifestyle on people right away. I have to slowly introduce things. And I'll tell you, when the first time I actually had food with her, it was a salad. And she thought the salad was the nastiest thing she's ever had in her life. Now, mind you, the salad still had dressing on it. The salad still had dairy on it. The salad still had things on it that, your typical person would be like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
She thought it was disgusting. She could not handle the salad.
Yeah.
I had to bring her back. I had to take her even farther back on the transition. Because she didn't even like the way a salad tasted with dressing and dairy on it.
Right.
So,
right.
Yes, I am a little bit different with how I transition my clients, but at the same time, as they get results, they want to go a little farther. They're more motivated. They're more inspired. And to me, that's what has brought me success in this industry. And I have to understand, in this industry, a lot of people don't know about the mucusless diet. They don't know about plant-based eating. They have this mentality of what vegan eating is. They don't know, so a lot of them are going to say, oh, all you do is eat salads all day. All you do is eat this. All you do is eat, because they just simply don't understand. So I use myself as an example through my workouts, through my eating, through my cleansing, through my body. People look at me and they say, there's no way that you don't eat meat and dairy. And I'm like, yeah, I don't eat it, So I try to be a walking billboard for this lifestyle and for, that plant-based life. And so, like I said, just don't stress about it. Take it one day at a time. And, I promise, you'll get better. Once you change your mindset, things will get better for you.
Yeah. So. Thank you, guys. It would be awesome to be able to consult with you, Danielle. How could we contact you?
You can email me at Danielle at Danielle Miranda, MIRANDA.com. Yeah. I work with men, I work with women, old, young, it does not matter. I've worked with kids as young as 8. I've had clients as old as 70. So it does not matter. For me, I just want to help people to the best of my ability. No, I am not a doctor. I do not claim to treat or cure any diseases. So I'm just putting that out there right now. But I can help you to the best of my ability, and I will put 110% as long as you put 110%.
Tamar. What's going on, Tamar? How you doing? The practitioner of Mucusless Diet and a friend of Takora. Pablo, how has your fitness routine changed since starting the Mucusless Diet?
Oh, well, so a little bit about my fitness journey. So I ran track my whole life. That was my love. I did that. And then 8th grade, got into volleyball. And, actually kind of funny, interesting story. I didn't make the team in 8th grade, and I was really angry about that. Because I was such a natural athlete. I was good at everything I did. And that summer, I said, I'm going to practice every day. And I practiced every day in my driveway. And my freshman year, I made varsity.
Wow.
So I made varsity. I was varsity all 4 years, captain 2 of my 4 years of high school, and runner-up for All-American. And then played in college, and after that, got into the bodybuilding and the CrossFit and all that stuff. And I can tell you, my workouts are, I will say this, so when I started working out, I was in the gym 2-3 hours at a time, because you're doing an hour and a half to weights, typically, old school, and then 45 minutes of cardio, typically. And I would be in there all day.
Yeah.
And it was like, I had things to do. I was in school, I was working 3 jobs, I was hustling, training. And so now I can honestly say that my workouts are done within 1 hour. 1 hour. How my program works is really neat, because I combined the strength and the cardio all in one. So you don't have to go and do the machines after your workout if you don't want to, or before. It's all combined into one. So I have more intense workouts, but they're fun. And what I mean by intense is not like hurtful on the joints or anything like that, but just fun. They're different. They're challenging. I take very little rest periods to maximize my time. So, I mean, my workouts, I'm stronger and I have more energy than I ever did prior to the Mucusless Diet Healing System. I'm telling you, guys, diet is everything. I can't stress that enough. What you put in your body, what you put topically on your body, what you ingest, that all matters when it comes to what you want to do, you know, physical-wise. Whether it's in the gym, going on hikes, riding a bike, whatever it is, it makes a big difference. So be mindful of that. You are what you eat, breathe, and absorb.
Exactly. And, and that's where I've seen those little clips, like the little Instagram clips of your workout. So I get that little
I do some pretty hardcore stuff.
Very hardcore. It is no joke.
I do some pull-ups, and you know, people are like, "Wow, she does that, and she's on the Mucusless." Yes, I do all of that.
No, and it's because I've seen just what you described just in those little tiny clips of like, you do one exercise, and then I have to get out of my battery is going down, but you do one exercise and then run and like do some weights, then go and do another cardio exercise, and like, you know, you kind of just constantly.
I mean, I could do a quick demo if they want.
Yeah, let's do that.
We can end it on a. Do you guys want to see a quick demo?
You guys want to see a quick demo of Danny's exercise routine? Let's do it.
All right. Quick something.
Yeah.
Little something. People can get a good idea as to the kind of workouts that I do. So I'm going to start off with some pull-ups, okay? I usually like to start off with some compound movements, so that would be pull-ups, that would be push-ups, anything that involves body weight. So I'll start off with pull-ups, I'll go into squats, and I'll end up with a cardio move right over here. So we'll end on that note, and let's get started.
Yeah.
There you have it. I started off with a compound movement, went into my strength moves with my squats, and then came over here and did my cardio with my pop squats and my jumping jacks. That's what I do in my workout. I maximize my time.
Yeah, and you would just keep going like
Right.
that. So you would do that for like an hour.
So that would be one circuit.
Okay.
And I would do 2 more circuits, and then I would do 3 more circuits with 3 to 4 different exercises in each. Takes me about an hour.
And then you just rotate doing different exercises in the circuits on different days, or?
That is correct.
Yeah.
And get the muscles.
Figure.
Mucusless diet.
Mucusless diet. Right. Shoulders.
So.
And, well, thank you very much for that. And thank you all for plugging in and tuning in. And they have any parting words for brothers and sisters out there?
Again, just like I said, just have fun with this process. Don't take it too seriously. And if you have any questions, like I said, you can email me or you can contact me on my website, www.rockandshockfitness.com, or email me at danielle@rockandshockfitness.com. I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
All right. You can find me, Mucus-free Life.com.
All right.
And,
bye, guys.
Till next
See
time,
ya.
peace, love, and breath.